Ew.
Hey, do you have Prince Albert in a can?
Dude, I really don't want to have a conversation with you.
Exactly.
What?
Where's Brian at?
Totally forgot about that.
He's very weird.
So yeah, it's awful, Tony.
There we go.
The joke is... Welcome to the XYZ podcast. This is episode 55. I'm millennial producer Tony. Joining me, as always, are your hosts, Gen X Brian.
Hey, everybody.
And Gen Z Winston.
What it do?
Winston, that looked like an uninspired what it do.
Okay, hold on. Let me do it again. What it do?
Now that's a distorted, but that'll work. That'll work.
Yeah,
It's uninspired, man. That's all.
Yeah,
there's been a lot that has happened since
A
the last time we
lot,
recorded.
yes.
Way too much stuff.
Good, but mostly bad. Unfortunately, if you're hearing this, you're lucky, as are we, to be recording.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know if we want to get into this or even if we know, but yeah, the frequency might vary a little bit heretofore.
One thing I
Or
will say,
it may be less polished. If we can get them out every 2
there's
weeks,
no
that would
sound.
be
There's
good.
no sound, Tony. There's no sound.
What? Are you serious?
There we go, man. There we go. Now we're in good form. I've got a large glass of bourbon. I broke my own rule and got a celebrity endorsed brand of bourbon. It's the Chris Stapleton Buffalo Trace collaboration that put out a blend of bourbon for them.
I always enjoyed the celebrity collaboration alcohol. Did you see the LeBron James
Yes.
Hennessy?
That's that's kind of funny. Does LeBron James? I've never had Hennessy. Have you had Hennessy?
Yeah, I love Hennessy. It's like it's part of like being Asian is enjoying
Is it?
Hennessy. Yeah.
Oh, because so as a white person, the introduction to Hennessy that I got was, I think a lot of other people, was from the song Humpty Hump, where he says, the Humpty Dance. You know, you got to know the Humpty Dance.
No,
right?
I don't know the Humpty Dance.
Oh my gosh,
That's before
come
my
on.
time.
That's
Hold on, bro. We're having a show without them hearing us. I feel like we should be. Hold on, let's hold it for a second.
I know Tony's working on technical stuff, but I mean, this will go out on the
Okay,
actual
sure.
pod.
So what's the Humpty
The
Dance?
Humpty Dance is like the Macarena or like the, what else, Tony? The electric slide. You know these things. These are like cultural.
Hold on, get me back in the conversation. I was here, just not mentally here.
I'm drinking a bottle of Hennessy you got on your shelf. So just let me introduce myself. My name is Humpty, pronounced with the Humpty.
What?
All right, Tony. I need an essay on the discography of Digital Underground.
Let me. All right, let's get on.
The Humpty Dance.
Humpty Dance.
You know the
don't
Humpty
know what that
Dance.
is.
Yeah, I know.
Off their
Humpty
album
Dance.
Sex Packets. The Humpty Dance. Here's your chance to do the hump.
Never heard of it.
I guess when are your friends getting married? You'll
Are
definitely
we
hear
looking
this
at
a
just
wedding.
Digital Underground or the whole?
I don't know what else they have. I mean, I
It's
do
a
know
single by
handful.
Digital Underground that released in 1990. Yeah,
Yes.
Brian, this is
Considered
way
hip-hop.
before my time.
Okay, do you know It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right?
Nope.
To make a thing go right.
There you go.
Nope.
No?
Never heard of
These
it.
are like songs that have entered the public like consciousness, not
Rob
just
Yeah,
Basin.
like,
in like 2005. What are we talking about?
But he's
It's
Rob Basin. He came to get down.
I'm not internationally known.
Don't know of it. You guys
Oh
are like
my
just screaming
gosh.
words to me.
This is my era of like rap hip hop. This is
Right,
this is the
when-
stuff that I would
this
listen
was
to.
when suddenly white kids from the suburbs that weren't into breakdancing like me are suddenly into rap music because you've got the Humpty Dance, you've got It Takes Two, you've got oh geez,
like
those are probably
MC
the two
Hammer?
biggest. Yes.
Yeah.
Can't touch this.
Yeah.
That whole era, suddenly all these,
Ice
suburb
Ice
kids.
Baby.
That was a little bit after, but yes.
You
But
got to mix a lot.
Exactly. He does like big butts.
Yeah. I do know that song. Okay. I know
so
that one.
so
Yeah.
this is all like the same era of like
Maybe if
when-
I listen to it, I'll know it.
of when rap sort of crossed over into the mainstream. The whole point of this, Tony, was
It's a time when you could understand what they were saying still.
right.
Let me say
so
that.
much so that Humpty said, "I drink up all the Hennessy you got on your shelf, so just let me introduce myself." That was how
Right.
I learned about Hennessy.
But you've never had Hennessy?
No.
I've never had Hennessy either.
Oh my God. You guys are
What's it
missing
taste
out.
like? I feel like
how do
we've
I-
talked about
how
this
do
before,
I
but I
describe
clearly
alcohol
never-
to you guys? Like,
Is it okay? Is it a hard liquor? Is it a mix? Is it
Yes.
like
Yeah, it's a liquor. I do
what's
know
it-
that much.
What's it made out of?
Let me keep
Oh,
doing my
yeah,
job
yeah.
here.
Okay. So Winston's the only one here who's
So
had Hennessy.
yes, but this whole thing.
Cognac.
Yeah, it's a cognac. So
We have talked about
woody,
this before.
I guess.
A Woody? It's Woody?
Like a woody scent. I don't know.
Like Toy Story?
Yeah. You
Like
get
a
a little
boner?
buzz
What are you
afterwards.
talking about? Yeah,
like,
so
like it goes water, half mast, Hennessy.
Yeah. That's
where's
it.
Morning Wood fill in here? I don't know
That's
what's
it.
going on. We were talking about beverages though.
Well, let me ask this. How do you just like once you turn 21, or I guess for those to venture outside of that,
Yeah.
do you just buy stuff to try it? Like,
Yes. I think that's sort of like the way to go.
I feel like that's such a big waste of money. That's why
It's
I
a
think they
huge
should
risk.
like more
But
companies should make those little bottles so you could buy the little bottle and see what you like.
I
But
agree.
again, it's
Really?
also just like,
Airplane butter try
Yeah.
kit. I like
yeah,
that.
there's so many drinks that I've never had. I don't know. I don't know if I
Yeah.
like it. I'm also not going out to a bar to spend $15
Well,
on
yeah,
say
now
a
it's-
cocktail to see if I like it now.
Yeah.
So
Like,
I would
that's
say
insane.
a lot of my alcohol exposure was through friends. All of my friends
The
would
TV
have
show?
no, sure. My friend Rachel would come. Joey, man, I gotta tell you guys about Joey. He's
That dude
crazy
loves
son of a bitch.
he
Yeah,
loves his IPAs.
that's it. But no, so
They said, could you be more drunk?
Drink the IPA because they've added more alcohol. Could you have any more alcohol in the IPA?
Could it be more bitter?
So hold on. So my friends would have like different drinks that they like, and they would be like,
Okay.
all right, so don't buy like different bottles of things. So for example, like Hennessy or Fireball or like Jaeger bombs, and that or like Jägermeister, and that's
Yeah,
how I
right.
would try all of these things. I'll be like, oh yeah, this is the one I like, and then otherwise I kind of drinks everything. But like my go-to drink, if I were like at a house party or something, wouldn't be like if I were to bring something to a house party, it wouldn't be a bottle of Hennessy or Jaeger or like any of that. I would get like a Smirnoff Ice. Like that would be the best thing to bring because
Oh,
it tastes
man.
like freaking.
Winston, the guy bringing Zimas.
Yeah.
And everyone's
No,
going,
I was
"Get
just
out."
man. I just had a Zima story. I was waiting.
The hell is
to-
a
oh,
Zima?
All
Have you
right.
ever- okay, Winston, do you know
Uh-huh.
what Zima is?
He doesn't know
No,
what Zima
I don't
is.
know what a
Oh,
Zima is.
Man.
They brought it back. Oh,
It
it's
didn't-
been
yeah, it
like a
fizzled.
decade ago now.
Yeah,
but
it-
I did go buy Zima at the time, just be like, I gotta have a Zima. I gotta
What
try
is
it.
it? What is a Zima?
Okay, yeah, look, it's a malt liquor. So
Okay.
first of all, that's so funny, Tony, because I absolutely have a story about a party I had where a guy brought Zima and I freaking roasted this guy. So Zima had a heyday. It was like what, like lemon lime malt liquor. I mean, basically, it was clear. It came in this funky bottle.
Cool
And
bottles.
Yeah, cool bottles, like, little like, beveled edges on it. And it was a beer bottle like size, but it was like beveled edges and it was clear. And you could
Right.
throw a Jolly Rancher in there if you wanted to get fun with it and like, flavor it up some. But it was like a lemon lime malt liquor and it got you freaking hammered. It was something that you would drink when you don't know how to drink. It was like that, it was the White Claw of its day, I think. I think that would be a proper
was-
equivalent.
It was like a cooler version of Bartles and Bailey's.
Bartles
Was that
and
what-
James.
Bartles and James, sorry.
Yes.
Which also cool bottles.
Yes, excellent bottles. The Bartles and James wine coolers, super cool bottles. Like
So
they
what's with this whole thing of dropping Jolly Rancher into a Zima bottle?
so
Just
you would
because
just
it was clear.
yeah, it was
you could
clear and
flavor
it
then.
had like a lemony lime flavor, and then you could say you wanted a strawberry lemon lime, you drop that in the Zima. But yeah, so Zima had a very short heyday. It was cool as hell for a minute, and then it went away. But it was like, I don't know if anybody who really drank them. But there was a guy, it was a party I had when I was in Florida, and I remember this dude who was a bartender showed up, and he had a 6-pack of Zima, and I was like, what are you doing? Because this was like when Zima was no longer cool. It was only cool for probably a couple of years.
That's
And
hilarious.
then it got embarrassing, and I roasted
Why
this
did it
guy.
get embarrassing though? It sounded like the greatest thing ever.
Well, unlike today, drinking White Claw has never what would it be? Well, I'm trying to think of what the equivalent of it would be
Well,
today.
White
drinking.
Claws are cool because White Claws and LaCroix, like seltzers
Right.
got big, and they're like, again, that was the thing that started like, oh, seltzers are big, let's add booze. And then that's when you started getting into the like, oh, let's make a root beer with booze. Let's
Yeah.
make
Right.
Sunny D with booze.
booze.
It's all
yeah.
it's
Right.
booze for people who don't like drinks. Like I
Right.
enjoy the taste of beer. But people that drink White Claw, I don't think like the taste of booze. It tastes like seltzer.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, but it became embarrassing fast. But yeah, that was also coincidentally right around the time when I realized when I drink vodka, I get kind of mean. It was sort of a reckoning of like I kind of turn into an asshole when I drink vodka. So I had a period of learning. You're learning how to drink and what you like to drink.
Exactly.
Oh man, Tony with the Zima reference.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, circling back to that, like that's how I find out that I don't like tequila or like any sort of vodka whatsoever. I don't know. I just think their taste so terrible.
Yeah, I can't drink vodka anymore.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's this one shot that I love and I can only ever get it at Putt Shack, like the mini golf place here in Atlanta.
Right.
It's called the CTC shot. It's cinnamon toast crunch shot.
Oh geez.
And it's made with Fireball, Brian. So it has that cinnamon flavor.
That burn.
And it's so good. It's super good. But highly recommended next time you guys go to a Putt Shack.
Well, shots sort of, that as an adult, I very rarely will do a shot anymore just because those can get you into trouble. Yeah, so I don't really do shots anymore. Shot a Fireball every now and again, to jumpstart your evening, but
Right.
I do need to shout out some of my friends. We were supposed to go to a distillery for my birthday when everything shut down for COVID.
Right.
And they were all disappointed because we were going to go on a road trip up to Kentucky. And so what they did was they came over and bought a bunch of those little nip bottles and like hid them around our apartment.
For like a scavenger hunt?
Like a scavenger hunt. And then we drank that. So they did it to me again this year. So like same thing I typically do. I have friends over for games and stuff. And as I was cleaning up and getting games and stuff, I come back in and they're like, hey, remember when we did this? Well, we did it again. And I just looked at them and I went, do you remember where you put them? And I went, no. And I went,
say, somebody have
so
a tally
we're
sheet?
all going to find out where they are because nobody knows anymore.
Oh, that's awesome.
God.
What'd you have? Was it just
It was a bunch of bourbon or whiskeys. I did learn that I'm not fond of rye.
Yeah.
It's gross.
What is that?
Brian, do you know Rock and Rye?
We've talked about this.
I don't know that we have on the show, have we?
It was the after show, perhaps, or the post show. We a rock and rye because it was in a Grateful Dead lyric that I knew of it. And then, just like anything, when you hear something you've never heard of, and then subsequently after you mentioned rock and rye, I heard it all over I heard it referenced multiple times. It was weird.
No way.
For those
rock and rye was go ahead. The rock candy and rye whiskey.
Yeah.
And the rye whiskey, a rye whiskey is just made with, it's got extra something, and it tends to be like a spicier sort of whiskey.
It has a heavier concentration of rye in the mash.
Which is funny because in the song American Pie, Winston, you have to know that one, right? Bye Bye Miss American Pie.
Yeah, the TV show, the movie?
No, the song.
I know. Yeah, the one where the guy had sex with the pie?
Right. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Good old boys drinking whiskey and rye, and that guy over there is fucking a pie. No, that's not the lyrics of the song. But no movies come out. Are they making movies like that anymore? Raunchy teen comedies?
No, not anymore.
No.
I think we're in a new era where those type of movies just won't hit at the box office.
Like it switched to, there was a small period with James Franco and Seth Rogen doing like sort of
Pineapple Express, and
they were
The
sort of like
Dictator.
stoner teen comedy movies. They were raunchy, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah, Pineapple Express was pretty funny. It was violent, and
Right.
that part. we always laugh at this. Like when he's like somebody's bearing arms. He's like, "Don't bear arms, don't bear arms." It was a pretty funny movie, but it wasn't as I don't know. A lot of movies get overhyped before I see them. I remember back in the day a raunchy comedy, Something About Mary, with Cameron Diaz. People like ranted and raved like that was the funniest freaking movie ever on the face of the planet. I was like, it was funny, but it was more raunchy and kind of pushed the boundaries than I thought it was like, hilarious.
It's one that doesn't hold up.
Yeah, I can't imagine seeing
her brother, Cameron Diaz's brother, just would get that movie banned now.
Oh, I don't even remember it.
He was special needs, and you can't do any of that stuff.
No,
Oh my god!
And I don't know. As an older adult, I don't think I need to see anyone's prosthetic scrotum stuck in a zipper. I mean that.
I remember this movie now. Yeah,
Frank and Beans.
There you go. Yeah, I mean everybody remembers Cameron Diaz's hair gel.
Yes, the hair gel scene. Yeah, I don't know. I just think no type of movie just won't like. I think it's a different genre of humor nowadays. That's why, like, if people see something like that, they won't say like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." It's more like, "What the hell am I watching? This is disgusting." So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like we talked about Scary Movie and stuff before, and I think those sort of fall into
I
the same
think they're gonna
category
make
for me.
another one, like a
Yeah.
new one soon. So,
But
They are, yeah.
those I feel replaced things like, you know, the Monty Python movies or Mel Brooks or
Yeah.
Airplane and Naked Gun. Like,
did you see they're making a new Naked Gun by any chance?
yeah, I did,
Ah.
and I don't have high hopes for it.
I think it's gonna be so funny. I don't know. It's just that one scene where the black cop turns and it's a portrait of OJ. He just shook his head. Funniest thing I've ever seen.
See, and that's, I mean, 80s, like, I felt like those raunchy comedies of the, what, I guess, late 90s, early 2000s were sort of in the same style of the raunchy, you know, TNA 80s comedies. But I don't think you
Yeah.
can do that anymore. Because, yeah, so, I mean, I guess there you go. If they are, they make jokes about OJ, but I mean, a lot of those jokes were based on, you know, race stereotypes and sexism, you know, or, you know, TNA, tits and ass, which was all over the place in the 80s.
Right.
In Winston, I have to, I guess, maybe it's commonplace, but I have used your good old 2000s racism
Oh yeah.
classification a couple of times to describe
telling
something
you.
because it's so good. Of like,
It
It's
is.
so great.
back in the 2000s. Hey, there's light.
Yeah.
Back in the 2000s, it would see, for some reason it was fully acceptable to like really lean into like stereotypes and like
Right.
make fun of them. That's
Yeah,
too
man,
much.
it's so funny. Like I literally just, it's so funny you said that. I just saw a video of Dante Basco. He's the voice for one of the character on Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's like super famous as a Filipino actor, and he was on a podcast and he was talking about how when he was coming up, it was sort of in that age of Hollywood where they just sort of didn't care what you were. So they casted him a lot of the time. They casted him as like a Puerto Rican or a Mexican. And he was like, well, you know, we're Filipino. We got colonized by Spain. So yeah, I'll do the role.
Sure.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, Chinese? Oh yeah, my grandmother is like half Chinese. I can do a Chinese role. And he was like, Vietnamese? I can do Vietnamese. We're Southeast Asians. And so it's stuff like that. But like the good old 2000 racism is just like
it's funny. Like, because you realized it before I did. And I mean that's the funny thing about getting older is you look back and you're like, oh, that was an era. You don't necessarily realize it at the time. But yeah, man, that's
go and rewatch the first Transformer movie. You're gonna be like, oh my god, like what? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's great.
It's great.
Speaking of going back and watching stuff, because hopefully, the final one of this franchise is coming out here soon. I have gone back to watch a series that I have not seen any of, which is Mission Impossible.
Oh my god!
The TV show or the movies?
The movies.
I told my wife, I said, let's go back to the beginning of Mission Impossible. And I thought about turning on the show just to tick her off.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, 1996. And boy, is it they just start spewing information and expect you to just follow along.
Is that the one where Tom Cruise is hanging over the thing?
Is that the first one? That's the second one. We're hanging over the rocks? That's the second movie.
Rocks?
No,
over like the Grand Canyon?
Over the floor.
Over the floor.
With
okay.
the lasers and stuff.
I'm thinking of the Grand Canyon one where it starts out and he's just climbing like the Grand Canyon. He just decided to hang out there.
No, this is the one where they kill Emilio Estevez in the first like 10 minutes of the movie.
No, don't kill Emilio. Oh man. So how many are there?
It was a real Scream situation of just going, hey, here's one of the stars. They're not in most of the movie. Don't worry about it.
Kill him off. That's awesome.
Right.
It does shock you. But how many are there? Yeah, that's.
There's now 7 or 8.
I feel like there's more because there's like multiple.
Some. I'm gonna watch them.
Come on, man! I thought you had this information.
Yeah, I thought you finished them.
Ready.
Hey, listen! I know I have all kind of time now. I've only watched the first one so far.
Okay.
Oh my god!
I just meant I thought you might have like looked and said, "Okay, this is what we're doing."
You gotta
watch
somewhere
the
between
second one.
7 and 9.
Yeah, that's what I think we're at. Yeah,
because they stopped numbering them. There's like Ghost
Yeah.
Protocol
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
There's like, they don't give them numbers after a while.
Yeah.
So
And
it's like,
they start having the same issue the Fast and Furious have, where they can't just fit the number on the titles
Right.
anymore.
It's
But at
really
least
hard to work
Fast and-
in 10 casually into a title, you know?
I think
Fast
Mission-
and Furious at least puts them in the poster somehow. So when you
No,
go look at
I'm telling
thumbnails,
you.
it's kind of easy. But
I'm telling you,
towards the end they haven't. Yeah.
the first Fast and Furious goes Fast and Furious. Second Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious. I'm like, great. It gets to
and
3
Furious
and they're
are-
like, what the hell do we call this?
Yeah, we got
Yeah, you know, and then it goes, all right, it's part 4. Let's call it The Fast, The Furious.
The
And then-
Furious.
yeah, exactly.
more faster, more
yeah,
furious.
and then get to part 5 and we're like, oh fuck, Fast 5. And then,
You just gave up.
these meetings, these
and then it
meetings
gets
last
to
about 5
I
minutes.
think Fast Furious 6 was like The Fast Furious or something like that, and it gets to 7 and they're like, we gotta bring the number back, and it was like The Furious 7 or something like.
Yeah.
It's their naming scheme is awful.
Hey, cars in space. Okay, that's
it.
good.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't even
man.
know what the last one was called. Oh my god. But yeah.
I'm still there. Haven't watched a single one of those. It's
Neither
funny.
have I.
What?
Haven't
No.
watched
Oh my
those
God.
and haven't watched Transformers.
You guys need to add both of those to your
Vin
list.
Diesel's a freaking tool. I have zero interest of seeing him
Every-
like Groot his way across the screen.
Everybody know he's a tool, but he's a great tool for this movie.
Yeah?
I highly suggest watching it. Oh
Okay.
wow, Fast and Furious 3, Tokyo Drift. That's what the
Oh,
third
that's
one
right.
was.
Yeah. And they're working some hot Asian chicks. There
That's
you go.
it. And then the fourth was Fast and Furious. 5 was Fast 5. Get to 6 is Fast and Furious 6. Furious 7, and then you get to 8.
That's it.
And it's-
6. They didn't even try on 6. They just
It's just Fast and Furious 6. 8 would have been great. They could have used the number 8 somewhere, but they used The Fate of the Furious. And
the 8
then
of the Furious.
they get to part 9 goes F9. and then they get to part 10, we're like, fuck, what do we call this? Fast X.
Oh, just like the
Amazing,
iPhone.
Mike.
Just like the iPhone.
Nope, that's it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Fast XR next year. It's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So that's where they are. They're at 10.
Yeah, they're at 10, and then they
10S?
have like 2 spin-off. Yes, they have like 2 spin-off movies and whatnot. So yeah, it is what it is.
Oh
But
man.
Highly
That's funny.
recommend it. It's Point
Yeah.
Break. It's Point Break, but it's cars instead of sport. Just-
Wait,
just
no. Point Break was a masterpiece. The first
watch,
one.
Watch the first Fast and Furious and tell me it's not Point Break with cars. That's all it is.
Okay, original Point Break, remake Point
Yes,
Break.
the original Point Break. I know. Hold on, I watched the
Wait,
remake
Tony,
Point Break.
I was going
and
to
it
say,
was
Tony,
awful.
what are your thoughts on has Winston, Tony, watched the original Point Break?
Am I
Yeah,
guessing
the one
if
that
he
came out in
has?
2011, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say
joke.
no.
I joke. No, that's the one with Patrick Swayze in it.
Yes, and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, we watched clips from it, Brian.
I am an FBI agent. Point Break is awesome. I haven't watched it in a while. I have rewatched it though after, and I felt that it holds up, but I don't know if it just held up my excited nostalgia.
Now you're
for
gonna
it.
watch the remake.
No.
Hey,
They were
we could do
surfing,
we could
man.
do
It's
another
great.
watch party.
Yeah, I'm just watching Point Break.
I mean, I would just, I would have a really hard time because I loved that movie, and I mean,
You know what's a really good movie from way back in the day that everyone rave about and I never got a chance to watch? Speed. I never seen any of the Speed movie.
I
Yeah.
don't watch those either.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them, right, Brian?
I think so. I remember watching, I think at least 1 and 2, and I do remember it was good. But there was a run when Keanu Reeves was the man. I mean,
Yeah.
he was like
Yeah.
unstoppable in
Yeah.
the theaters.
Now
But-
all he does is John Wick and Sonic. But shout out to him.
Yeah, I haven't seen the newest Sonic. The newest. I haven't seen that,
John
but also
Wick,
the
yeah.
latest. Yeah, the 4th John Wick. Is it 4? I've
It's
seen the 3.
5th one. I think
Oh,
it's the
5?
5th. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's
they're
a
doing Ballerina as the
Yeah.
New
it's
spin-off.
a spin-off. Yeah. I thought it was supposed to be a TV show, but they made it a movie. So I'm like, I don't know. Not a high
knows?
hope for it. But Speed is one of those movies that I haven't seen. What's the other one? Oh, Die Hard. Never seen any of the Die Hards.
Oh, you're missing out there.
come on, Christmas
Really?
time, man. Throw it in at Christmas time.
Yeah, I said it's a Christmas movie, right?
is.
It
yeah.
is.
Never watched any of the RoboCops. I watched the remake like way back in like 2013. There was that. I've been
RoboCop.
playing the RoboCop game. That's why I brought it up. But
I watched that again. There was a rewatch of that at some point in my life, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's unbelievably violent.
Yeah.
I mean, like even like I mean, 80s standards, 80s violence, but man, it's still super violent. But you know, the effects are I don't know. He kills a lot of people.
Right. He didn't have a body cam on at all. This guy
exactly.
was
there was none of that going on in his day. Although you would think if he's a robot, it would record.
It would record. Yeah. Exactly.
He shoots people in the dick though. It's funny.
Actually,
that's the best part of the movie. He just shoots some dude. Yeah, it's awesome.
I gotta watch the movies. But yeah. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about something. How do we go down this road?
I think because we all, I don't know. What's the last movie you guys have watched? New movies? Because I'm so behind on new movies.
Did go see Thunderbolts, which I won't say anything more than that because boy, Marvel really just didn't give a crap and spoiled the end of their own movie in the opening weekend.
Yeah, it's
great. The whole reason it says Thunderbolts asterisk. There's a reason there.
Yeah.
And they just completely changed their marketing.
See, but like,
and gave it away in like 3 days.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to watch the opening weekend. See,
okay,
Brian,
so you guys have both seen that in the theater.
Yeah,
okay.
But Brian is so far removed from like the Marvel stuff. He doesn't even aware. This is who they target, Tony. This is the general audience that we're talking about.
But I don't want to ruin it for anybody that's listening that has.
Yeah,
okay, no, that's good because I haven't seen it yet. I'll wait till it becomes
Disney Plus. Yeah,
it was very good. Where
it's a good movie.
Captain America: Brave New World had absolutely nothing to say and was boring. This has a message and says it very, very well.
Yeah. See, okay, I was going to ask you because I actually look into. I would see this. I don't care about Red Captain. You know, Red Captain Hulk. Captain Hulk.
Yeah.
Red Captain Hulk. Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford. You know, it's like that looks so stupid. And as a entrenched fan, I'm like, that looks like they're just ripping off their own ideas now because they got nothing else. As when I see that, I'm like, Harrison Ford is Red Hulk. Dumb. That's dumb.
Red Hulk's been around in the comics for a long time.
I'm sure he has.
But one, it's such a small part of the movie. Yeah. Two, it should have been the reveal of the movie instead of the reveal of the trailer.
Yeah.
And
it may have had, so there you go. So that would have had much more impact. But when I see it, I'm like, Red Hulk. That's the whole thing we're going for. So I don't care.
Right. It's like putting Darth Maul turning on his double-bladed lightsaber in the trailer. It's like why?
Yeah, it was like
why do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
man, these are great things.
It's supposed to be like, holy crap, this is awesome. I can't believe they're doing this part of the movie.
Yeah.
And they just went, we'll give it to you here.
Well, because that's because they know there's nothing else getting people into the theater. That's why.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Because nothing else going on in that movie.
Yeah, I saw an article about the theater, the movie theater, about how it's, it's not pre-pandemic levels because, people are much more, myself included, would rather stay home than go, see a movie. So the last movie I saw in the theater was that Zeppelin sort of documentary, Becoming Led Zeppelin. Okay. When I saw it in IMAX, and it was awesome. It was a documentary though, so it's not like I don't think that really counts. Their argument in this article was that the fact that the movie theaters, which had a huge boom in the 90s and updated and upgraded and all that, going to the movies was a big deal. And now, they've not updated a lot of those theaters. The argument of the article was that the theaters are not trying to, some of them are, but by and large, most movie theaters across America are not updating, are not making it a big thing to go to the theater anymore.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree since you guys have been to the theater?
I can't say that I do off the fact that I pay more to go to like the Dolby theater for their like Dolby Atmos and whatnot. So I like the sound system there.
They charge you more to go see a movie in Dolby Atmos?
Yeah.
Buy a $1 or $2 per ticket.
It's $20 a ticket, Brian. It's expensive.
So you 100% priced me out of that market. I don't care what movie's coming. I'm not going to see that.
The Batman in that theater, Dune in that theater, those were like the top 2 movie that I watched in that theater, and I think it was great. I watched Thunderbolt in it too. I don't think it would have been as good. I think it's good. I just don't think it's Dolby
I didn't realize
level.
They charged you they didn't charge you more when a movie was THX certified.
That was the thing.
Great.
I didn't
Oh
know
yeah. When that iconic opening. Oh,
yeah.
love that.
Scared the shit out of every kid.
Yeah. I mean, it meant business, man. Like this sound is gonna rock your freaking testicles.
Right.
I'm not surprised that the theater's going this way. I think when TVs have gotten as big as they are, and sound systems has gotten as nice as they are at home,
that's what I'm saying.
There needs to be incentive to go to a theater. It needs to be a premium experience. And you're right. When theaters aren't updating, I think a standard theater that you go to should have clean, comfortable, working, reclining chairs.
I think
it needs that it's I think they need to you need to go in. It needs to maybe have, a lot of them they're heated now.
Oh, no way.
So many theaters now are serving food on top of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think probably if some theaters are going to have a better sound system, they should all just have a better sound system.
Right.
Like the only thing extra that you should be paying for is the way overpriced food because you're stuck there. It's basically it's amusement park prices.
I didn't tell you guys this. I spent $21 for an icy and a bucket of popcorn the other day.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
insane.
like, that's more than my ticket. The ticket was $18,
Or if you're going to like IMAX, I can see it's a completely different film format.
I'll give you
or
if
you're doing like 40X or whatever, like if you're going
that's what I was gonna say.
Then I can see an extra bump in the price. But I think otherwise, what they're charging people for mid-level now should just be the standard.
Brian, I do think you should go and watch a 40X movie. Just for a weekend. Just go watch, pick the most action movie you can and just spend that low premium price and then just sit in a 40X theater just to see how you feel about it.
I've never seen 40X. Is that 4K?
It's one where if there's any water or spray water, it's like if you were at Disney, that's
4D.
Yeah,
the individual seats shake,
vibrates, and haptics and stuff. Okay, yeah. It's I just read the Sphere has that apparently.
No way.
Has haptic seating. Yeah.
Man, imagine the eagle flying in there.
Yeah. I was reading about that today. I don't even remember what the whole point of the article. Oh, it was how to see a show at Sphere, which is funny because now that we've pointed it out, I no longer see the and everybody's really making sure that they call it Sphere. It's not the Sphere.
Right.
But yeah, they said they had haptic feedback, but I don't know if I'm ever going to come along to the point where I can drop multiple hundreds of dollars on seeing a concert or a show. And I think if I'm ever going to see a show there, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Winston. Okay. So yes. Blackpink still the top of the or Twice still the top of the heap of your K-pop superstardom.
Yeah, they're up there. They're getting a little older. They're
out.
No, they're just they kind of don't care about they care about their fans, and I love Twice still, but they kind of just churn out music which I enjoy
like a product. Amazing.
Yes, yeah, that's their whole thing, right? I just wish a lot of their stuff would be a little more, I don't know, going back to the old way more than what they're doing now. But I enjoyed them. I still like them. They're still my number one. It's them and La Seraphim. But yeah.
Okay, so either one of those. I know you spent a lot of money to see them at Truist Park.
Yes.
Which is not a concert venue.
Then they're going back on tour this year, so we'll see which venue they pick this time around.
That'll be interesting. Would you spend $1,000 to see them at the Sphere? I'm sorry, I can't drop the.
Actually, realistically, I would, just because I want to experience the Sphere.
$1,000?
Yeah, I'll throw it on a credit card. We'll pay it off later.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll Klarna it.
Klarna,
that's it. Yeah,
Tony, we need to be in talks with
$250 interest-free payment.
Yeah,
for the
yeah, but I would do it just off the fact that it's the Sphere. And it's funny because they
got to get to Vegas. You got to buy yourself a $500 plane ticket, I would imagine.
No, man, I'm flying Spirit. I'll pay like
Tony, see if you can find right now. See if you can look up Spirit Airlines from Atlanta to Vegas. What can we get on Spirit Airlines? Where Winston will be stowed in the luggage compartment.
Literally,
I'm comfortable ride, but he doesn't care because he's going to see Lisa in high def.
I'm not seeing Lisa. Yeah.
No, is that right?
She's from Blackpink.
Damn it! I thought I was making references that were relevant.
See,
Sorry.
Spirit for $137, Brian. $137.
We'll get you one way to
Atlanta. So this is one way. We can get you there. I'm not promising anything back. One way ticket Atlanta to Vegas.
Winston's texting us from dude. 40... Can you guys Venmo me some money? I gotta get seriously. Back home.
Starts at $47.
So, there we go. I tell you, Brian, it's cheap.
I've never flown Spirit, but good gravy, that's cheap.
I'm telling you, Brian, I would go there for the one night only. I would fly in the morning, spend the whole day there, go to the concert. On the streets
with it's this right? Isn't that?
Wait, no, I would. Are we looking for just like okay? You're gonna be you're flying in Wednesday and leaving Friday. Kind of thing, like you're there for the concert and that's it.
No, I leave on the street. I fly in Thursday morning and I leave Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday.
Red eye out of the city. Week?
No, the same day.
One day.
Yeah, I'm just showing up for the concert. That's what I would do.
He needs an 11:59 flight out.
Okay, hold on.
Maybe the red eye the next morning.
You're saying this? I'm looking at prices. Like, what's a 1 day round trip?
Oh my God,
136.
I'm telling you, Brian, it works. It's 136.
I had no idea Spirit was that cheap.
I don't even need a hotel. 17
connections. You know? He goes from Atlanta to Boston to San Antonio to Milwaukee to Boise.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. No, you know what though? I recently got my Delta SkyMile credit card. Maybe I'll buy a Delta ticket. Throw it on the credit card, get some miles off.
You're not getting a $47 one way on Delta to Vegas.
No, I'm not. But I'm gonna get some miles off of it that I can use for my next trip.
Eventually.
Yeah.
What's the town? What's the city that never sleeps? Who's that?
That's New York.
That's New York.
Yes.
Because I don't think Vegas ever sleeps either. Because there's the lights are on all the time. Here's a fun fact. So this ties in Vegas perfectly. In high school, one of my teachers, I think he was either a lit teacher or something. He came in, he was all excited, and he's telling the class about how he was in Vegas doing whatever, and he couldn't sleep one night, and he got up and he decided to go out and walk around, and he was walking around outside in Vegas. He was probably looking for male escorts, but that's never, we can't confirm that or deny that. Right. And he's and suddenly there's this big commotion and he sees something going on down the street. So he wanders over to see what's going on. And it's U2 in Vegas walking down the street shooting a music video.
With Bono?
Yes.
No. Where the streets have no name.
I think it was Main Street, however, but either way, he was literally in the. Those are U2 jokes that Winston doesn't even get.
I don't get it.
That's the best part about
I'm assuming these are song titles. I don't know. They weren't added for free to my Apple Music. How would I know?
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
This was years before that. This was when U2 was still a loved institution. Anyway, in the video, I believe it's Desire. Where they're in Las Vegas. I'm not sure. You can fact check me on that. But they shot a video. U2 shot a video wandering around the streets of Vegas in the early morning. And my teacher came back and told us about this. And sure enough, months later when the video came out, he's fully visible in the video. He's in there. I was like, holy crap. He wasn't lying at all. But yeah, so U2 was in Vegas long before their Sphere residency.
Dang.
Yeah. But
looked at if you try to fly in very early in the morning and left late at night, cost you about $225 round trip.
Not bad.
Wait, that's more expensive than getting in and then going a different day, no?
Well, Tony's eliminating your hotel cost.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's probably $200 for a hotel for a night.
Yeah, so you got to weigh that in. But it was funny though, because my point was that you may not need to sleep. You can wander around the streets of Vegas where they have no name and possibly end up in a YouTube
Listen
video.
here, Brian. I would take $500. I'll go to the casino. I'll put it all on red. It's either gonna pay for my flight back,
or broke.
I'm gonna be homeless out there the whole time.
Have either of you ever gambled?
No, I've never gone to a casino. I want to at some point just to see what it's like, but otherwise, no, I've never. Not even sport betting.
Yes, I've been to a casino before.
How'd you do it? Did you say like, "Hey, we're gonna set aside $50 if we blow it, we blow it. That's the money we have for gambling," or?
Yes. So the first time I did, I just said, "Hey, this is my money. I'm going in with. I think I went in with 100, and I left with like 250." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not bad."
So you knew when to fold them, huh? You're like.
Yeah.
That's what happened when you don't have an addiction.
I know, I guess so, because I remember a buddy of mine that I went to college with. He was telling me about their trip to Vegas, and I may have we're in the senile episode of I can't remember. I guess is Dave on? Dave's probably the best podcast historian. Whether he can call us on listen, man, you guys are talking about stuff I've heard before. But this friend of mine talked about how he blew all his money gambling, and like turned to his friend, like an hour before they had to leave to go to the airport, and was like, "Hey man, can I get like $6-7? I need to, I haven't eaten. I need to go to McDonald's and get some get some food." And he took the $6-7 and like freaking went into the casino and like, threw it all on, $6-7 on whatever, and like lost his money. Like he had a gambling. He was one of those people that would have had a gambling problem. Now that it's legal everywhere, I should probably check in on him. He's doing. He's in Florida, so I'm sure everything's legal there.
Right. That's hilarious. But no,
I don't know if gambling
I still want to go. I still want to go. Like, here's my thing is if I go to the casino, I don't know where my first thought or like what's the first place I'm going to hit.
You go blackjack or slots. I think those are your two options.
That's right. Yeah. Like which one?
I was going to add roulette and craps in there.
Yeah.
Craps is too complicated for me.
Yeah, I don't know craps. Yeah.
Roulette's you can pick red or
too
black.
Many numbers though. Yeah, that's it.
You could just go red and black and be
slot machines are way too complicated nowadays.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they are. Don't you just put a coin in and
no, Brian. Yeah, maybe back in 1998. Have you seen one of these machines? It's like brain rot as a machine.
I've never seen one. Period. From 1998 or now.
I'm telling you, Brian, it's not like what they make it out to be, like in movies and cartoon, where it's just a 3 slot.
Cha-ching and then blackjack or
Liz and I
jackpot
stayed at a casino hotel on our Christmas road trip.
Did you gamble?
This past Christmas?
We
did. Yeah. We said we're going in with.
Right?
We have this much money. We didn't even spend all of that. And Liz is like, I just want to play slots. I don't know what I'm doing. But you have to put it. It's like going to Dave and Buster's nowadays. Yeah. Like some of it is like, are you going to put it on a card?
Yeah.
And then you swipe the card, so you don't know how much money you have then, which is already a thing. And then it's just like there's rules like. Slot machines are like pinball machines. Like there's like
I love pinball.
There's like a game within the game to be playing.
Yeah.
But they don't post those rules for that game anywhere. And you just got to figure it out. And it was just like, we attempted on like 4 different machines and both of us were like, surely we're not this stupid.
I was gonna say
we
you
just
were like a
figure
game
it out.
You are a game savant practically.
Yeah. And Liz was just like, we're fine. I don't need to do this. And I went, okay, good, because I don't
this makes me feel bad and I'm losing money. I'm stupid and losing money.
It's overstimulating to look at one of these like slot machine, Brian, because like you would think it's just gonna be the 3 matching image and then you win big.
Yeah.
No, not at all. You start hitting these things and they would just start having pop-ups in front of your face now. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And
have any of you seen these skills machines?
No, what's that?
Like go to your local Kroger. Go grocery shopping, you check out, and on your way out, usually where they've got like the lottery ticket machine and like the key cutting machine, they're essentially slot machines.
Really?
You put money in it. Now here's the way they get around it, because gambling is not legal in Georgia, as far as I know. That's why there's no casinos here. But you can put money into this, and it basically does the thing. It's got things that move around, but you have to tell it if you've won. That's the skill, is you've got to go, yep, here's where I won, and that's all that it takes. And they go, oh, well, then it's not gambling because you had to tell us. We didn't tell you.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, then it's not luck-based, then it's skill-based.
There's probably some 70-year-old glued to the screen every time you walk past one.
Oh, yeah, they are rampant.
Yeah.
up in Pennsylvania now, and unfortunately, I
Are
have
they down here
family
too?
who are sucked into them more than they
They're
should
like
be.
iPad kids, Brian. They just constantly
well, I
do
was-
this.
But for the elderly,
Yeah.
yeah, they have a disposable income, and boy, do the companies prey on these people.
Oh wow.
Disposable income and a lot of time. They'll sit on there hours on end, Brian. Just
Well,
doing
I've
this.
seen the people in the gas stations usually on the way to the beach playing the Keno. They're sitting there playing Keno in
This
the
is
gas
similar.
station. I
It's
was
the
like,
same
oh.
thing, I think. Yeah. I
I
don't know.
do not. I have a big aversion to drugstores and gas stations. I do not like being in them at all. Like there's
You don't
something
like being
about
in the
them.
Walgreens?
No.
I'm with you
Why?
on the drugstores. There's something.
Okay.
Maybe it's the fluorescence in there. I don't know.
There's something, man.
about it.
When
Yeah,
I
I'm just
see
going,
a
I gotta get
person
out
with
of
a
here.
grocery cart in a drugstore, I'm like, who are these? These people are insane people. Like that they've come to they're going to purchase enough items from the drugstore to fill a cart. But yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Drugstores and gas stations,
You don't like the
can't get out
slight
of fast
humming
stuff.
of the light bulbs when
Yeah.
you're inside of it?
I mean,
See, gas stations with digital currency and like credit cards, like there's no, I'm not in a gas station anymore unless I'm there to maybe use the bathroom.
Well, that's what I mean.
Or
I'm getting out as
always
quick as
dirty,
possible.
Or I'm there for snacks, and then it's snack Mecca.
True,
It
but
is
I'm still
just
trying to
like
get out of
it
there
is
as
the
quick as
best place
possible.
to go find
Yeah.
drinks and chips and
Yeah,
candies.
no, absolutely. And I mean,
Yeah.
I know you have your beloved Wawa, which is, I've been in, right? Wawa? No.
Sheets.
Sheets. I'm
Sheets,
sorry. That's
yeah.
blasphemous. I spoke
is.
blasphemy. I'm
You
sorry.
did. I was like, what are you going on about, Brian?
Sorry.
Isn't Wawa a
Sheets.
Florida thing?
Wawa's a Philadia thing.
And it is now.
It's
They've
like- yeah,
now made their
it's
way down to Florida. That's where
Okay.
I've entered one
Jersey,
in Florida.
Philly.
But yeah, I just something about it. I try and get out of there as quickly as possible. I'm not sure why.
You've been to Buc-ee's now.
I
Yeah.
have been to Buc-ee's. I've gone
A
in.
different experience, man.
Buc-ee's problem is there's too many people.
Too many people.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's why you want to get out of a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, and it's bizarre how many people there. And again, I am 100 Buc-ee's bingo. You're gonna see somebody in pajama pants. You're definitely gonna see
Probably
1000%.
Buc-ee's pajama pants.
Yeah.
Sadly enough,
Head
when
to
you're-
toes in them. Yeah.
Yeah, and even worse, seasonally themed Buc-ee's regalia. But,
Listen,
Yeah.
have you guys actually been to a Buc-ee's if you never took a photo with Buc-ee's himself?
I took a photo of Bucky, but I was not with him. It
I
was
got
more
a
of
picture with
documentary of-
Buc-ee's, man. It was
Wait,
great.
the so again, if anybody listening doesn't know what a Buc-ee's is, it's like it is the
Beaver.
right. They're everywhere, right? They're like a
Yeah.
gas station
They're
convenience store on
scattered. It's a
steroids. Yeah, like
Texas thing is where they're from. Like
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
but
a gigantic quick trip or racetrack.
I think the
had
biggest
a
one
baby
is
with
now in
Walmart.
Georgia too. I
it's
think.
still in Texas, the biggest one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Everything's
Okay.
bigger in Texas.
Imagine a gas station that is as big as a Walmart,
Walmart,
and
yeah.
half of it is Walmart. It's just
Yeah.
it's apparel and home goods, and the other half is fresh barbecue
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a wall of jerky.
And don't forget the
Oh, and
inhabitants.
Yeah,
also,
And it
also
is
Walmart.
packed at
Yeah,
all
and their
times.
drink section is amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the only place that I know I can go and get sarsaparilla.
What is that?
Sarsaparilla. It's like it's primitive root beer, right?
It's a kind. It's in that vein of like root beer, birch beer, sarsaparilla. It's
and,
good.
and
It's good is
possibly
what it is.
a gold mining prospector will be drinking it from the hill.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he whistles when he talks.
Yeah, that's sarsaparilla. Sarsaparilla.
Do you think they have Zimas there by any chance?
I'm telling you, Winston, in your you are in your 20s, but if you were in
Yeah.
your young 20s and somebody offered you a Zima, you'd be like, dude, totally. You drink it, you'd be like, this is good. And then you'd wake up and your brains would be imploding, going, oh, that was actually, it's malt liquor and sugar.
Yeah.
It'll get you
It was
drunk.
the '90s version of Natty Light.
Yeah, but but it didn't taste like beer. That's why. That's why you
it
could
tastes
throw
like
'em
juice,
back.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is an embarrassing story for me. In my 20s, I was working over the summer at a landscaping place, and I worked with this guy.
Get back to Zima.
Yeah. No, yes, bring it back to Zima. I mean, Bucky, Zima, sure. And I worked with this guy, and I don't actually remember his name was like Chris or something, but he's like, but everybody calls me Andy. Like, but your name's
What?
I don't know if the middle name was Andrew or whatever, but he went by Andy. And so Andy was 21, I was 20. And it was like the beginning of the summer, it was like May. I was about to turn 21. And I remember on that Friday we got paid and we had this rickety ass bucket truck, like this stick shift bucket truck that we had driven to the job and like shoveled out an entire truck's worth of gravel or wood chips or whatever. And so we're calling it a day, and we swing by the liquor store, and I give him my money. I'm like, hey man, can you get me like I can't remember if it was a case or a 12-pack. I want to say a case of 24 Zimas. Because
24 Zimas, crazy.
Yeah,
man.
and I bought that was what I could get. I remember taking it home, and I had like a stash of like Zimas at 20, and I was like, oh my God. And in retrospect, that's so embarrassing.
I laugh, but when they came back, I was looking it up. It was 2017, 2018.
Didn't make much of a splash, did they? You bought some?
I bought a case of Zima. I'm like, I've never had one. I gotta have a
24 or 12 or 6.
It must have only been 12.
Okay, that's still a lot of Zima.
It was too much Zima. I will tell you.
How much Zima do we got around here?
What was the so
can Zima be our new Scrobblers?
I'm surprised that it's one of those things that hasn't made another comeback.
Yeah,
but it was not good, right? I mean, it was
exactly as we're describing it. It was like
sweet.
Yeah, well, it's just like, okay, well, they make these seltzers. It was sweeter than that, and it was just, it was a clear lemon lime malt liquor drink.
It was only 5% ABV. That's crazy. Well,
really?
Here it's 4.7 to 5.4.
That's lower than like what a bottle of Smirnoff is. Yeah, like a Smirnoff is 8%, I think.
It was malt liquor. But I mean, it really was malt liquor that like was just introduced in 1993, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So like as I rolled into college, this was like the new thing.
This was the age of clear Pepsi as well.
Yeah.
Again, clear Pepsi made a comeback a few years ago too, and I was like, "Ooh, gotta buy some clear Pepsi." It was good.
Did they do the Pepsi Man commercial? Did they have Pepsi Man make a comeback too?
No, Pepsi Man.
Who's Pepsi Man?
You guys don't know Pepsi Man?
I know Pepsi Man.
Yeah, Brian, you don't know Pepsi Man?
No.
He was an early 2000s Pepsi Man.
So like the Silver Surfer, man, but like Pepsi.
That
very
sounds
much
pretty
so.
cool. I don't know if you can see this, no, because I got my blur on.
No.
But the bottle.
I love that, Brian.
Yeah, this is great for video.
Helen Keller can probably see that.
There it is.
Zima.
Amis is what it says on my end backwards.
Right.
But see the bottle? See how it's like beveled on the hands?
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It felt good in your hands.
Right.
But the fact, so that I guess talks about my alcohol tolerance too. That a couple, like 3 or 4 Zimas would get you ripped, but they're at 5%. That's like a beer. I could probably, not that I'm proud of that.
Winston's looking at Pepsi Man, but
what is Pepsi Man? Is he like Kool-Aid Man?
Share your screen when you find him.
Yeah, I'm mad that I was looking up Pepsi Man. This is so this is embarrassing. Hold on.
Associate producer Winston.
Seriously.
This is another question. Pepsi challenge.
Here you go,
I
Brian.
feel like we've talked about the Pepsi challenge.
Can you see the Pepsi Man?
What is that? No,
that's the Pepsi Man.
Yeah, he's like dabbing and he's kind of like Venom.
He's like the Silver Surfer.
No.
Like
if Pepsi was a symbiote, that's exactly what you're getting.
He also kind of looks like who's that? Cobra Commando?
Oh, sort of. Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
he had a video game.
Right here. Pepsi Man on the PlayStation, the original one. Check it out. You can see some gameplay.
See, we got product placement these days, but man, they were all about the branding collaborations.
Just collecting Pepsis.
On the original Nintendo, the 7-Up Dot or Spot had its own video game.
That was his name? It's funny how there was this period. Okay, so let me go back to when I was in middle school. It was cool as hell to have a Coca-Cola sweatshirt.
Why?
Like suddenly Coke started making clothing and it was like, holy cow, this is cool, man. I want a sweatshirt with the Coke logo on it, which seems like nothing today, but at the time it was a big deal. And so like Coke branded clothing came out and it was like a trend, like swatches and like tight rolling your jeans. Like it was a thing that was like super cool that you could get, a Coke branded sweatshirt. Pepsi like joined Pepsi always perpetually in second place, joined a few years later and it was like, no, that's not as cool, man. Sorry, Pepsi's lame. But here we have a obvious market placement advertisement that they're selling is entertainment, and people are in the 80s and late 90s, people were like, hell yeah, sure. Yeah. And now, which is now it's like advertising is everywhere, but it's not as overt, I guess.
Yeah. I will always remember from my favorite movie of all time, Transformer 2, where they had an Xbox turn into a Transformer and a Mountain Dew vending machine turning into a Transformer. I love it. Product placement, it was the peak in 2008 and 2011, I would say.
Well, Winston,
Because it was shameless then, yeah.
Have we talked about the Pepsi challenge?
No, what was the Pepsi challenge?
Oh, thank you for bringing us back on track.
Oh, I now see. I had a shirt that says, "Have you taken the Pepsi challenge?" So it was
a Pepsi challenge. Sound like an STD.
It was an ad campaign that they ran. That they were like, oh, they set up tables on sidewalks and in malls and stuff, and had people come up and drink 2 little cups of cola, and they. One was Pepsi and one was Coke, and you had to tell which was which, and
which one tastes better.
People in the commercials preferred Pepsi over Coke.
Right.
But I think that in the long run, the research that came out was that, yes, in small amounts, Pepsi is better because it's actually sweeter. But if you're drinking, say, a can,
you don't want
then
that
it's
sweet.
too sweet. Then you want a Coke instead.
We hadn't talked about this. Yeah, Winston, that was a big deal. And then it ran for all of their commercials. The Pepsi challenge was everywhere. And then Pepsi snagged Michael Jackson and Alfonso Rivera to do a commercial, which Michael Jackson's hair famously caught on fire. But that's a whole nother subject that we won't get into. And then Pepsi was like, it was all marketing. It was marketing. And they kind of like, were dominating the market for a while.
They got Britney Spears in the late 90s into for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's why, I don't know if that's why, but then New Coke came out, which tasted more like Pepsi. It was like sweeter.
Oh, so the current Coke was what Pepsi tastes like.
Well, nobody liked New Coke, and it was only around for a very short time.
You don't know about this either?
And then they went back, and it was Coca-Cola Classic to remind everybody that, we went back to the original.
Because Coke debuted a new formula and people lost their freaking minds, and they're like, "This is horrible. Where's our original Coke?" And some say that it was like a cover up when they changed to high fructose corn syrup over regular sugar. Some people say it was a marketing ploy, but I believe that it was not, because they went all in on the new Coke because they were trying to compete with Pepsi.
We did mention it at one point in time when we talked about Max Headroom.
Catch the Wave, Coke. Yes, he was the spokesperson for the.
But I don't know that we went too far into it.
No, I don't remember this at all. Maybe because it was happening here in the state and it didn't really affect Vietnam.
Well, that was before me. So
I wasn't even alive yet.
It was a thing, but it was totally a thing where like suddenly like Coke has always been kind of number one, and then Pepsi was starting to gain dominance, and so Coke reformulated, and people lost their minds and were like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. But then it was like that classic Coke formula. They brought it back, and then it was kind of like and then it kind of pushed back Coke. That's why Pepsi is always number 2.
I will say it's always so annoying when you go to another state that's not Georgia, and you're like. Can I get a Coke? And they're like, no, but is Pepsi okay? I'm like, fuck no.
No, it's not. No, it's not okay.
Yeah, just give me something else. Give me a Sprite. No, what's the new
Starry.
Star. It's Starry, okay? What the
Yeah. Get out of here.
You mean Sierra Mist? Do you have any Sierra Mist? I would like some Sierra Mist. We did talk about that recently.
Wait, who owns 7-Up? Because 7-Up was always my go-to.
Dr. Pepper 7-Up is its own. I think it's Dr. Pepper Keurig is the company now.
They need to be serving 7-Up at more places. 7-Up to me is better than.
It's good. I like it.
You don't see it enough.
Yeah. You guys remember Team? Did you have Team?
What the hell was that?
Team was an off-brand.
The Microsoft app.
Teams, just single.
Yeah. Team.
No.
And I think it was with 2 E's too. It was
God.
It was a 7-Up knockoff, which was actually pretty good. I don't know who made it though. Tony, what do we got on the research for Team Soda?
I don't know. I'm about to say time's up though.
But I want to talk about Team and then Microsoft Teams and the fact that they just killed. We want
to go over a bit.
We got 5 more minutes. No, probably not. No.
Team Soda is TEEM or two E's and an M, and it's a green bottle. It looked like it looked like medicine, man.
It was good.
It almost looks like Slice or Squirt.
It was.
Which there's not. Well, listen, Squirt. You ever have Squirt?
Yeah,
Squirt is good.
Grapefruit
No.
soda? Good. It's awesome.
I don't like it, but it was its own thing. But no.
Okay, I am
going to
wrap us up.
That's fine. Wrap us up. I was going to try and team into teams into the fact that Skype is dead, but never mind. Let's
Skype is dead. Sad. Hey, thanks for listening. So this episode's dead too. Thanks for listening. Hey, if you made it this far, we appreciate you. Tell a friend though. Get more listeners for us. We'd appreciate that. Rate and subscribe wherever you're listening so you don't miss new episodes. Downloads help us more than streams, but again, we love you anyhow. If you want us to talk about something, show up in chat. I'm looking at it. I laughed at it more than I interacted, but they're there. Thank you, chat. You can also email us at podcastxyzxwhyz@gmail.com. You can visit us on Instagram where we put news and things. We've got our TikTok where we're putting clips up there, our YouTube with our exclusive post show. But you can check us out on all those platforms as well as getting your link list and Winston's watch and listen list and all that other kind of fun stuff. Our store page over at podcastxyz.podbean.com. And with that, we'll see everybody next time.
See you everybody.
Later. Bye-bye.